Max White, everyone.
I haven't seen you since you were here and you stayed here in December.
Yeah, I know.
Remember when
it was so much fun.
You stayed at my place and then you defouled it by doing improv.
I did, yeah. And I bought a UCB. I bought so much UCB merch, and I I hope I left something at your place from UCB.
I have a video. I'll put it on here somewhere. When I walked in and I just looked over and I just saw like a UCB book and I was like, no, they invaded my house. But do you think that UCB merch will be worth money now that they're going under?
Oh no, that's right, because there's a pandemic and nobody's going to watch improv now. Improv's been so hard hit. Oh dear, because they have to be more than like 6 people on stage.
Oh man, they're like improv might be the super spreaders. They might be the original. When you were here, did you do improv classes or what did you do?
No, I just want to watch the shows.
Some people come.
I didn't tell you?
Yeah, no. Some people come and stay in New York and then they'll like have a secret drug problem. But you came here and you hid your improv. You fucking hid it from your buddy Max.
I kid you not. I think I went to like, I was there for 2 weeks. I think I went to like 5 or 6 shows.
Oh my gosh.
And then I even did like a spot at UCB. Is it Franklin? No, that's in LA.
No, that's LA.
UCB.
You know, you did it at the Chelsea at the new one that was open for like a week.
Yeah, exactly.
You did Get Fresh, right?
Yes. No, it was If You Build It. If You Build It.
Okay. All right. That's a cool one. That's so weird because for those that don't know, Upright Citizens Brigade, they closed the UCB East. I actually used to run the open mic there with my friend Paul and Brandon.
Oh.
And it was a weird one. It was a cool open mic because they had like really good sound and like it was really fun for people to get on proper stage. But when they closed, they went out like with an email that went out on their Instagram and like no one knew. It just was like gone. But in retrospect, if they would have held out for like 6 months, they could have just blamed it on COVID like everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like shut down the first week and then like just dragged it out for how many months are we in this now? Like a year?
I think it's a year.
And then
now.
be like, oh, sorry, we can't open up again because we went under.
When you were here, it was improv and it was Christmas time, so it was extra sad. It was.
I'll be honest with you, Max. Like I was considering going to like an improv show on New Year's Eve.
Oh, instead we went to
If you hadn't suggested us going out to a bar and then like you took us like places on New Year's Eve, so that was good. You saved me from like an improv New Year's Eve.
Not on my watch, Moxie. I'm not letting you go to an improv show on New Year's Eve. But then Daniel got us into that, or he was very adamant about us going to that awful New Year's party. Do you remember that comedian?
Oh, that's right.
It sucked so bad.
Yeah.
That was really bad.
It was so weird because people were doing, it was a show. And then people just hung out afterwards and like celebrated New Year's. But like the show was awful because everybody hated it. Like everybody hated it.
It was like romantic couples in the front and they were like eating dinner. And like that one dude from LA is talking about how like he wants to fuck the girl or something, like insane. And then they're like, Daniel, go to a spot.
Yeah, he was.
Wait, you cut out there.
Booked, was he? He wasn't even booked. It was funny because he just like, oh, sorry.
Are you good?
Oh.
They got him.
Yeah, he wasn't even booked.
No. Yeah, he just showed up.
And the thing is like, he just, like oh, sorry.
No, keep going.
You're gonna have to edit this so hard.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
But like he did like he had like 3 great shows or something at the Cellar, and was riding high off of that. And then we come to this like really awful like New Year's Eve. I think the stand-up was free or something or included in the meal ticket.
I think it was ambushed.
It was ambushed on everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody was enjoying it. And then they get Daniel to like just do a spot and he bombed. Like he really bombed as expected.
It was so funny. And like every comic was doing crowd work. Every single person was doing crowd work, but no one was listening to each other. So they were all just like, so what are you guys doing? They're like, we told the last 3 people this.
Yeah.
And they probably paid like $200 for dinner and then they just got ambush comedy right up in their ear. Yeah.
It was, I mean,
What?
yeah. And the fact that nobody read the room, like, because they were very clearly not up for talking to anybody. They didn't want comedy. They didn't want to do like
Yeah.
it was very funny.
They were like a COVID crowd back then, and it was before COVID even hit here. They're all like spaced out 20 feet and just like, oh God, that's so weird. Wait, you've been in New York before that trip though, right? You've been here before?
Yeah, I've been in, I think I've been there 3 times now, including the time I visited you. Like the first time was for half a day because I went to Toronto, and then in Toronto, Chinatown, you could do like bus tours to basically New York's Chinatown.
Oh,
so
cool.
Just a bunch of Chinese people, Chinese people get on a bus and they just drive you down to New York, and they stop at every outlet mall on the way, of course, on the way there.
Yeah.
And then I think we stayed at like the DoubleTree in Jersey or something. And then they drove us into New York for half a day. And we did so much. We did like 30 Rock. We did Empire State Building. I think we did Central Park. And then we even took like a boat tour out to the Statue of Liberty.
And so when you say we, do you mean we, the Chinese people, or you and your friends that were happen to be on the bus?
Oh, it wasn't even my friends. I went with my family, Max.
Oh, wow. You did like a family tour. Because we have Chinatown buses here. It's the same one, but it's like $20. You can go to Boston or Raleigh, Durham. Like I took it once from Baltimore to here, and we stopped at a gas station, and I went in to get like a Coke. And I just was like, I should bring my bag with me. Not that they're going to steal it, but I just don't. Like the driver was smoking cigs, and he seemed like half cocked. And I was like, I think they're going to leave me. I better be careful. So like true to my like style, like if you keep eyes on the driver, you're not going to get left behind. But I seriously, I turned my back for 5 seconds, and the bus was pulling out of the parking lot, and I ran full tilt like across the road and like blocked it, like hey. And he opened the door, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm on the bus." And he's like, "Oh yeah, come on." And I was like, it was in like Dover, Delaware. I was so scared. It was like, I'm going to get left on this. I remember I had an original iPod, so it was like in my pocket. It was like clanking around. It was
original iPod.
Very tried. It had like the little game of Snake on it. Yeah.
That's so funny. I mean, was it a Chinese driver?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was the only white person on the entire bus. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
He had no like.
That's why.
He had no like zero fucks. He was like, "Yeah, you caught me. Okay, good. Let's go." And I just held on to my bag the whole time and just was like, I'm not getting off again until we get to New York. And it's not even that long of a drive.
That's
so wait,
so funny.
You did that trip with your family? I've never been to New York with my family before. Is it weird?
I mean, it's not fun. It's not like, because it's like when you go to New York, well, I was a teenager, so I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of stuff. But when you go to New York, you kind of want to experience New York the way we did it, which was like ending up at a random, which is improv, just yes-anding everything, then getting sold into prostitution because you yes-anded the wrong person. It's basically when you travel with family, always when you travel, especially because my parents are Chinese, it's always just like you just go and eat food. That's all you do. And you just hang out with relatives. So you don't really experience.
We swap it out. Like when I'm with you, though, that's all we do. And like Sunil, we hang out. We're like family. We go eat really good food. That sounds awesome. But you can't dive in the nightlife is what you're saying. You can't get out there and do some dancing.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get out there and meet people. And you can, I mean, we do that, but then we also kind of experience the city, don't we? We just walk around and stuff. Usually with my parents, it's like, oh, that's a Chinese restaurant. Let's go in there. That's like when they visited me in London, because I live in London usually. We went to Chinatown every day for a week. Wow. I'm not kidding you. And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable being the stereotype, but it's their trip. So I have to accommodate.
I just found out. Did you ever go to Flushing, Chinatown when you were here? Oh, you went with your cousin, didn't you?
I did.
That's the largest Chinatown in America.
Is it really?
I just found that out like last night. I wasn't doing research or anything. It was just on the show. I swear. They're like, it was that YouTube channel where the white kid speaks Mandarin. Have you seen that?
Oh, that guy. Yeah, where he keeps hearing people talk shit about him in Mandarin, and then he breaks out the Mandarin, and all the Chinese people are really shocked.
Yeah,
and not embarrassed, but really shocked.
Yeah, they're like, well, it's about time you speak it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and like he's really clickbaity, which I mean, it's YouTube, I get it, but like it's interesting. The titles make people seem a lot more racist than they actually are. They're not, it's like it's not like the people aren't like, oh my God, you speak Mandarin. They're like, oh, that's cool. What do you want? Do you want 2 of these or 3? Like, it's very odd. I mean, I don't know.
He's hitting that he's hitting that reverse racism crowd.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it would be funny if he just goes straight from there to a MAGA rally. He's an insurrectionist. Tough on China. Hey, Max White here. Do you like that clip? You like that clip a little bit. Come on. Do me a favor. Click that subscribe button right here. New episodes weekly. Thanks a lot for watching. I guess I'll just call it Max White Presents.
Max White everywhere.